So you see this title right here from Yahoo Finance. They pulled it from Simply Wall Street. Advanced Micro Devices is favored by institutional owners who hold, get that, 72% of the company. Yeah, so we're not talking about general public people. Even though YouTube has a lot of channels that talk about AMD, they're not the one who's buying the stock. It is these institutional players who hold the power. So AMD will kind of do things to their preference, to their liking, and not necessarily the general public. Let's go into the article and see what it has to say and comment about it. If you want to know who really controls Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, then you have to look at the makeup of its share registry. And the group that holds the biggest piece of the pie are institutions with 72% ownership. Yeah, these institutions with billions of dollars of assets under management, they got to put the money somewhere. And rather than put it in NVIDIA, they're putting it in AMD as well. 72% of that ownership. The group stands to benefit the most if the stock rises, or lose the most if there's a crash. Given the vast amount of money and research capacities at their disposal, institutional ownership tends to carry a lot of weight, especially with individual investors. Hence, having a considerable amount of institutional money invested in a company is often regarded as a desirable trait. In the chart below, we zoom in on different ownership groups of AMD. Here it is. 0.02 is owned in public companies. Private companies own 0.02%. State or government entities own 0.1%. Institutional investors own 0.6%. General public, individual insiders, General public owns 26.9% of shares outstanding. Then you get institutions, 72.4, 1.1 billion shares. Institutional investors commonly compare their own returns to the returns of a commonly followed index, so they generally do consider buying larger companies that are included in the relevant benchmarks index. Okay. Since institutional investors own more than half the stock issued, the board will likely have to pay attention to their preferences. This is where control and dictation, if that's a word, matters. AMD is not going to worry about the general public and the things that they have to say. They're going to follow what these institutions want them to do, because they control the majority of the votes or the shares. We also know, I guess this article is talking about, they also note that hedge funds don't have a meaningful investment in AMD. The Vanguard Group is currently the largest shareholder with 8.8% of the shares outstanding. 7.7% and 4.1% of the shares outstanding is with BlackRock, and State Street Global are the second and third largest shareholders. Okay. The general public, who are usually individual investors, hold 27% stake in AMD. This size of ownership, while considerable, may not be enough to change company policy if the decision is not in sync with other large shareholders, i.e., all of the content that people on social media is garnering for AMD, it doesn't mean nothing if the ownership is not in the general public's stake or in their hand. And if we're going to go off the information off this article, then yeah, it won't help out. It's these large institutions that's going to dictate what happens in the daily activities and the policies that AMD is trying to do and move forward. Okay. So hopefully, if you're a holder of AMD stock, hopefully the large institution will do things that is favorable for your situation. Okay. So that is about it. Just wanted to come through, show you all from this article that a large majority of the shares outstanding is being held by big institutions. More than half. How will that impact AMD stock? Because it's been trending. It's been on a run. It's been going up. Is that why these institutions are really gobbling up as much as they can of this stock? Because they know that it's going to follow the same trend as Nvidia and ARM. Because when we did our price prediction in AMD right here, we anticipated weakness into the market. And the market did go down right here on the 20th of February and the 22nd. And it held our buy zone. So I'm not surprised to see the market in AMD hold. But now you can see it's getting rejected here at this sell zone pair at the top. Will it continue to go down? I don't know. Let's look at the chart from a different time frame. What's going on here? Here's AMD on a weekly chart. What is going on here? When a market consolidates, it's either doing one of two things. First, the market could be buying. Second, the market could be selling. What do you think these weekly bars represent? Buying or selling? What about on the 2 weeks? What do you think the market is trying to do? 3. Five weeks. Let's look at this on the monthly chart for AMD. How are you thinking? What are you thinking? You bullish or bearish? Well, AMD is trading at all-time highs. Here it is on the 1 hour chart. AMD on the 7. Take a look. Might be a clue right there for you. Saying that this sell zone around 182.50, 180. Yeah, there's definitely some selling that occurred. This is where the battle is being waged between the buyers and the sellers. Sellers are up here, buyers are down here. Buyers take it up to the sell zones kick in, sell down the market in AMD, trade sideways, hit that sell zone again, sellers activate, push price back down to the buy zones, buyers activate, push the market back up to the sell zone, and now the sellers are trying to reactivate. It's real simple. So what do you think is going to happen? 330-minute chart. To me, I think the market in AMD is going to continue to consolidate. Okay, so this is not bad. It's not negative. It just simply tells us that the market is going through a process of either buying or selling. Now, one thing that you can tell if the market is buying or selling is it paying attention to whether or not the market is making higher lows, right? So if you see the market making lower highs, like this is a high, and then the next time it makes a lower high, then it makes a lower high, that tells you that the market is doing more selling than buying, and vice versa. If the market is making higher lows, or if it's holding support like it is right here in this buy zone, the market is buying. Okay, so I think we need to chill out right now, give the market in AMD a couple more days to see how long it wants to trade within its range, and then we may come through and drop another price prediction. Boom, just that simple. So let's chill out, because currently I just think it's going to consolidate right now, but generally I will have to lean more towards the price in AMD continually go higher, but I want to wait and see whether or not the market is going to continue to trade within its range, let it come down a little bit further, and then drop another price prediction. That's what I'm looking forward to. But you guys can do what you want. Give me your thoughts. Make sure you maintain the profitability, and as always, trade different.